Well, good Saturday morning to all of you. It is November the 12th. Exciting things going on with the company. I don't know what else to say. These Saturday mornings have grown so much now, I don't even think about it anymore. Big waves. I'm going to give Coach Palmer big waves to everybody. That's one of the ways he always starts his coach's corner. Gets people looking at each other. I think it's fun that we always have good Saturday mornings. But guys, as we get started this morning, I think a lot of people are having questions, and even I have. I mean, trying to learn the new Catalyst Club and what that means. And, the bottom line is it's got me excited. I've actually haven't posted it yet, but I got a new rep yesterday, and I plan to make I'm going to do all 9. I just made up my mind that, you know what, I'm going to do this thing, and I'm going to do my 9 in 90 days just to prove that we need to all do that. I know after watching Kim Bailey's numbers, it's kind of funny. I've been doing this for 20 years, and I got to watch what Kim was talking about, and I'm like, you know what? Ken's already done it, so I can't let him show me up. And I know Coach Palmer's already done it, so I got to get. So I went to work. So I've already got my first one, and I'll finish the other part this week. So at any rate, with that, I'm going to turn this. And everybody sees the beard because I've got trying to grow this thing for Christmas. So we're going to see how that goes. It's funny. All 3 of us got a beard. Ken's got the goatee. Coach Palmer. I'm not sure what Coach Palmer is. He just kind of has that rugged, good-looking, that GQ look, right? Now what Coach Palmer's always got the GQ look. By the way, I'm going to give you a hard time. I still haven't seen my orange shirt. He just coincidentally.
Next Saturday, I will wear the UT orange.
Hey,
I'm putting it down.
Brand new burgundy. All these tied. I mean, you can tell he's got a lot of folks that Alabama fans. Ken's trying to suck up. He's got on an Alabama shirt today, I believe.
Liberty.
Shirt. Okay. But guys, as we get started here, I mean, I think there's so many things. I wrote down things I wanted to talk about last night, and each time I get. There's so many things have happened over the past 6 weeks. And I guess it's according to how you want to look at it. I'm just so excited about where our company's headed. I'm a business guy, and I'm going to say this before we turn this to Ken and Brent. Guys, I've had several people calling me about my opinion about what's going on and how does this mean. And I hope I didn't lose y'all. I had a thing that said I was signed out. Am I still here?
We're good.
Okay, good. So people were asking me my opinion of things. I said, this thing didn't. What we've gone through for a couple of years here, and some of the new people won't know that with the mergers and all the things, hasn't been smooth. Been a lot of issues, but you know what? If you just look at it from a business standpoint, and I just mean this business, I was talking to a guy that I won't call his name that owns a network marketing company, and he's like, I've been open now for 5 years, and he said I've got my sales up over $20 million a year. I want you to think about that. He's excited. $20 million a year after 5 years. And he said, but profitability, I'm not really that good. He said, we have setbacks, we have problems. And guys, what we basically are setting on is a company that is 300 million plus with no debt. And he told me, he said, I've been open 5 years and I still got debt that I'm original debt, labels and things you had to do with R&D to get your products. And he doesn't have near a product line. I don't think people estimate what this means. I don't know what else to say. So when I get calls, I'm like, guys, this is not exactly the way we wanted to end up here, but I'll promise you this company is in a Brent and I talked about this week about how in the world, I mean, you talk about a company that's going to be over $300 million with no debt, all the brands in place. You can sit here and tell me that this ain't the right place to be, but I know it's the right place to be. I'm excited about what's going on. I see growth. Doesn't mean that everybody wants to stay here. I want to make that clear too. Every team doesn't always work out with everybody that wants to be there. If it's not for you, that's okay. We're going to love on you anyway. I think that's Coach Palmer's statement. We're going to love on you anyway because I know what's about to happen. I just see it. I see it with rep support people. I know it's been a little slow getting through because there's so many questions. But guys, I even talked to Crystal at rep support yesterday. And she said, I see so many things happening internally over the past few weeks that I'm excited about. And she's not a person that says much of anything. She's just kind of quiet, right, Ken? Crystal don't say a whole lot. With that, I want to talk about the Catalyst Club. And Ken, or Brent, maybe I'll just turn it to you. I'll let you interview Ken. That's what we talked about, interviewing him. So I'm going to turn it to Coach Palmer, let him talk a little bit about this Catalyst Club. I know he's already made it. Coach Palmer, what level are you already first level? You got your first 3? You're muted.
I have made the first 3, and Chris, you called me yesterday and you were talking about this morning and bringing Ken on and highlighting Ken's vision for the Catalyst Club. And we'll get to that in just a second. So hold on. Okay. But I want you to understand something right now from all of our perspectives, at least, it's going to be really, really, you're going to be able to visually see the leaders that move and shake through this Newco company coming out of the ground. Okay. You're going to be able to put your eyeballs on Chris Doyle elevating, Ken Bailey elevating, Brent Palmer elevating, other leaders. I could point around, Tammy Motby, Todd Rowland, like we can go around the room, right? But you got to get your story down. Okay. And I want to take you through this just really quick. Okay. Is that okay, Chris? I know you said you wanted me to touch on this. I think it's very important that we all understand. We all get a choice. Like Brent Palmer gets a choice. Do I sit back right now based off my last over a decade of doing this business and just enjoy the residual income? Or do I choose to go forge into the next part of this future? And I look at this, if you've been on my calls lately, I look at it. I love going to Nashville, Tennessee. I love country music. You go to the Hall of Fame there on off Broadway and you see all these gold albums, right, of these people that made it, the music group Alabama. And you see all this stuff, right? And you see the albums, but what you don't see is the story amongst the gold album, the rise, the fall, the in-between, the moments where they're just having to go one foot, left foot, right foot, step. The great Pat Summitt used to say, when you're going through adversity, left foot, right foot, step, breathe. Left foot, right step, breathe. That's what every gold album has those moments of adversity. And so for me, I spent 2 weeks. I spent more time out in a hotel than I did in my hometown through this transition. And Ken was there and Chris was there. And one of the things I had to look at, and I'm going to draw this back, and you're going to hear me say this over and over and over, because I think it's important for all of you on here to look at it and make your own list. Because, I look around the room, Mike Whitten has a choice to make. He can get excited, move in the future. He can sit back. Like, that's his choice. He's his own boss. Sonia Enfinger, I know what she's doing, but she's got a choice to make. Like, that's her choice. Bill and Sue Saling, Brent Palmer, same way. So I went to corporate, and so many other people has went to corporate because I had questions. I had to look at them. Because if I was going to any company in the industry, I got to fill some boxes with check marks. And how many of you, maybe in the chats you can put this, but how many of you believe in our no compromise on our products the executive team has set forth? How many of you believe this? How many of you, listen, I'm a twofer a day on Renew. I think it's the best product. I'm talking about Chris Doyle put me on 2 a day. And then somebody said, I don't know if you can. So then we had to go and ask, can we? And they said, absolutely, you can. And so, listen, I'm in the gym. I got more energy. I've lost weight. Like I'm having a complete transformation on this product. But we got so many great products because there's no compromise. If they say grapeseed extract, it's the highest that you can put in product. It's the best sourced out that we got. And that's why our products work. And so that was a big check mark. And when I looked at the owner, the executives, and they said, not only, hey, we got to move, but we're going to ink this thing. We're going to put it in writing. We're going to video it. Like we want to let the world know, like, we're behind this no compromise. And that was a big check mark and win for me. The other one was the compensation plan. See, because I have a different story. When I came here, I had to dissect our patented compensation plan because I was the top earner in our company that sold to this compensation plan. So you don't think it's feed my family. You don't think I dissected the compensation plan? Absolutely. It's the best in the industry. So going and sitting down with the executives and the ownership and going, how do you feel about the compensation plan? And hearing them say, we'll ink it, we'll video it, it's not changing. That was huge for me. And I could point to Chris and Ken because it was a no. There is a non-negotiable for us in this. Compensation plan is not going to change. And then it was the Founders Club, same scenario, not going to change. They actually said, unless you guys want to just put some other things in there to make it better. I was like, okay, always like better. And then the other thing is, what about Partners Council? What about our Scientific Advisory Board? What about our Wellness Council? And all of those were getting checked off. And the biggest thing for me is they said, we'll put it in writing. We'll ink it. We'll video it. We'll do whatever you guys want to do to show the world it's here to stay. Perfect. And so the other was the executives. We currently, if you added up the years of experience in our executives, they have well over 100 years of experience in our industry. That's huge. It's hard to get that just in any company. We got it here. And so all those boxes were getting checked off. But what I want you to understand this morning is we had questions like, okay, we're a new company right now, but our back office still says new age. Like there's just awkward time. And so when we asked the question, they said, look, let us answer this. Like we ship to more countries than Amazon. That's what our operations team told us. They said, so it's complicated. So what we're going to do is work on a new name, and we got to register and trademark it all around the world. So it's going to take time. So during this time, we're going to launch this promotion that we can focus everybody on called the Catalyst Club to be a part. We're going to get into this, to be a part of this new movement of this founders, the first founders of this new company coming out of the ground. That's $300 million right now. That's debt free. And so I got excited about that because we can focus around a singular focus, a message, November, December, January, as they come out with our new name. And you go, why hadn't they announced our new name? Because it takes time. Because we ship to so many countries, more than Amazon. And so all of that was laid out while we were there. And so I started getting excited about where we could go, what we could do, if we unified, if we loved on people, if we made a commitment that let's lock arms, let's have each other's back. I know Chris Doyle has my back. I know Ken Bailey has my back. And so they're some of the best leaders in the industry of network marketing. So if they've got my back and we're going to lock arms and we're cross-line, like we don't, so it's this whole blurring the lines of sponsorship and let's just go support each other. I can get behind that. And so then here's what I hope you gain value from today, just my part. Then I had to create my own story. Because see, as Chris said, I'm very excited for myself because I had to announce it to the world that I was going to be a Catalyst Club member. And then I'm like, okay, well, I got to have a plan of action to go get it done. And so now I'm a Catalyst Club VIP 1, which means I've enrolled at least 3 brand partners. But those new people coming in, they had to hear the story, right? So I challenge you to get your story together. And so here was my story in a nutshell, really quick. I was a part of a company that really excited when I was a principal athletic director. I got started with a company that really I got into to make a couple of extra $100 a month, $500, $1,000 a month. If I can make $1,000 a month, it pays my mortgage of my home. See, never forget that people come here to make an extra $500 or $1,000 a month. Please never forget that. No matter how much money or millions of dollars you make in this industry, never forget why the masses join this industry. $500, $1,000 a month. And so I start my story is that's what I was looking for. I was a principal athletic director, and I was struggling to make it from paycheck to paycheck. How many of you can relate to that? You know, when you came here, maybe you're still here. It's okay. It's why we do this industry. And so I did that and had a beautiful experience. I started making money. I started generating and building teams. And before I knew it, I was able to retire from education, have some time freedom. My income grew. I made my first $1 million in 2012 or 2013. And then, but it's not about me. I started seeing other people advance. And then we ended up selling our company to a company that when we went inside of that company, I found some beautiful people, some amazing leaders, and some awesome products. Products that I was like, holy smokes, not only do we have ours, but we have theirs. We get to partake in it all. And I found some like-minded people that were just good, best salt of the earth people. And then we decided a couple of years in that we really wanted to go public. We wanted to be a public traded company. And we joined forces with a public traded company. And I'll tell you, I'm talking to my prospect, right? I'm telling you, we joined forces with a public traded company, and we met some beautiful people. There was a company inside of that called Tahitian Noni that's got the best people in the world. So they joined forces. So it's such a blessing. Like I just felt like God had his hand on this thing. But here's the deal. The public traded side just did not work out. It didn't work out. You know, sometimes that happens in life. Kind of like the Great Depression. Wasn't a great time. A lot of opportunity came out of it. Here, new age, not new age. I never talk about names. Here, public traded side wasn't a great thing. But a lot of opportunity is going to come out of it because we had to restructure. And through the restructuring process, we're going to break off. We got to pull all the amazing assets we love, detach from debt, and to be able to pull away and come out with a new name over the next 3 to 4 months is going to be a beautiful thing. And so I don't know where you're at right now, but we're sitting in a place where we're going to announce over the next several months a new name, new company name. And you could be a part of this movement with us. You could be number one in this movement. You can wait and see how we do it, or you can come in on the ground floor and be a part of this movement. And I'd love to lock arms with you. Will you do this with me? Notice I'm not talking. Next person that speaks wins, right? Or loses, however you look at that. Here's what I say. That's how I recruit today. What's your story? Your story is different from mine. Your gold album is different from my gold album. But you got to get a story together that makes sense and that the new person that enrolls understands the story of how this comes. Because if you tell a new person we're a brand new startup company that's $300 million debt free, that does not make sense. But if you share with them a little bit of how this opportunity, this adversity, but turn into opportunity happen, they go, oh. Because the prospect does not care about the past, only to know what's in it for them for the future. And so to me, I'm sitting here today with all the check marks of what our company has to offer. And I know this. We're paid every week. We have the last check mark is we have a system. And this is what I'm going to say before I introduce Ken Bailey. We have a system in play right now. You don't have to use this system, but the Renew system of growth makes sense. Because even if you don't use Renew, you got to ask yourself the question, does people in my community, does people on my social media, do they know about this product called Renew? See, if I come to Florence, Alabama, and start trying to promote Limu, everybody knows about Limu. They did it maybe 2 or 3 times. But what they don't know about is Renew. They don't know my new story. and they don't know about a product called Renew that they could get involved with on the ground floor that has a system attached to it of going out of the gate and making income quick, I can gateway them in on that singular focus. And then once they're in the door, we will share all the other beautiful things that we have, like Moa, like Limu, like Tahitian Noni, and all the other products we have. Somebody said something about Lucem. I use it every day. Every day I use Lucem. And so that is where, Chris, that if you want to know what the conversation I'm having with people, that's my conversation. And you go, well, what do you show them? I show them 2 videos right now. I send them the video that shares the science behind Renew, little product video, it's very short. And I also send them the play video that shows how we can make money, how we can generate income. That Tracy Turnberg, the voice recording of that. That's the 2 videos I show. I keep it simple. And I reach back out to them and I go, listen, I'm about to put someone else in, probably this weekend. No pressure on you. But if you come in now, I'll place them up under you. And you guess what? No one wants to come in second. No one wants to come in second. And so I hope these were some nuggets this morning of what I'm doing personally to come and be a part of the Catalyst Club. I think it's a beautiful promotion. When you see the numbers of what a new person getting started could do over the next 90 days, and this is the way I'm looking at it. The next 90 days, I'm setting up my financial 2023. So how many of you would like to make more money in 2023? How many of you would like to make it your best year? See, because what I believe is winners win. That's just what they do. They win. They find ways to win. They're entrepreneurs, just like Canada is doing right now. They don't have the 5-day trials, but they are loading them up in baggies. They're entrepreneurs. They're finding a way to win and create this just like the U.S. market is creating it until they get the 5-day trials in hand. See, they don't let it stop them. And so winners win. That's what they do. And for me right now, I'm focused around the next 90 days. November, December, January. Ending January 31st as a Catalyst VIP number 3, Catalyst Club. I want it all. I want all the bells and whistles. I want to have my name. I want to have my seat. I want to have my face etched in stone for now to the end of time to be able to show my kids and my grandkids, Dad and Granddad was there when that company started. From adversity to triumph. And you got to have that conviction. And not only do you got to have it, you got to tell it to yourself. You got to look yourself in the mirror because there's going to be doubters. There's going to be people that are not on board with you. There's going to be friends that say you're crazy. But you know what? Me and you got to know where we're going. And then we got to surround ourselves, just like we do on the Saturday morning call every Saturday, with the people that are going in the direction we are. And when you got that, you got an unstoppable force. And so what I'm excited about you hearing about this morning is from Ken Bailey. Guys, listen, I could say this about Ken Bailey. He's made millions of dollars in the industry. He lives in North Carolina. He's a veteran, like he's been through adversity in this industry. And he's came out because winners win. Left foot, right foot, step, breathe. Left foot, right foot, step. He's done that a lot in his career. But he's also made millions of dollars in the industry. But that's not what I like about Ken Bailey. It's his heart. If you want to know why this company's going places, it's because you can't compete with heart, unity, and love. You just can't. You can fight it all you want to, but you can't. People that surround themselves with people that have heart, unity, and they just love people. It's an unstoppable force. And that's Ken Bailey. So he's going to share with you this morning. He's a VIP one. There's no doubt in my mind. Like that's just everybody can say, well, but he's made millions. Listen, he's burned through his warm market like 17 different times. Okay. He's put all of his relatives in probably twice or maybe 4 times. So it's harder for him, but he will be VIP3 because he's a winner and winners win. But the program and his vision behind the Catalyst Club, when me and Chris saw that, we were like, oh, he's got to be on the Saturday morning call. So I want to bring him on. I'll be quiet. Ken Bailey, thank you for your leadership. Thanks for being here. And just thank you for partnering with us on this journey, on this next journey.
Thank you, Brent. Thanks for the introduction, buddy. Excited to be here. I got some notes I'm going to go over, but I want to touch on something that Brent said there is so important. When he's talking about adversity and struggles that we've been through, folks, in the end, that makes you stronger. And I want to give you an analogy to really drive that home. What if you went to the gym to work out, you walked into that gym and all they had was pillows everywhere? You just go sit down. That'd be easy, wouldn't it? But you ain't going to get any strength from that. You actually want machines and weights that really make your muscles sore for a while so that you can come out bigger, better, stronger. So Chris is saying, I want the pillows. No, but these struggles and adversities we went through, Brent, is going to make us, and has made us bigger, better, stronger. And I'm excited about that. In fact, Todd and I've been talking this week, and I'm among the most excited I've ever been in the industry, Brent. I've been in the industry 22 years, 20 years full time. And I'm always excited about what it's meant to me and how it's changed my life. I know we all are, but I'm among the most excited. Maybe the most excited I've ever been, Brent and Chris, is when I was able to quit my full-time job. And I can remember back, Brent, people used to ask me, Ken, did you have mixed emotions when you quit your job? And I'd say, yeah, joy and happiness, right? So that's, I've had a lot of exciting times, but I'm so excited now because of from where we're at and what you've been talking about, Brent. And this Catalyst Club, as I've looked at the numbers, and I'm going to share them with you here in a minute, and got a slide I want to really drive home to you, but it just blows my mind what this does, Brent. I know that's a small explosion, but it blows my mind when you start looking at the numbers and so forth and what this promotion is going to do for us. And I believe it, as I said, 22 years in the industry, Brent, it may be the very best promotion I've ever seen. And I believe that for 4 reasons. I'm going to give you the reasons, and I'm going to go into some quick details on them. Number one, it's simple, and I'll explain that. It's doable by the masses, creates massive volume, which means bigger paychecks, and gives us all new people to work with. Everybody get that? Simple, doable, creates massive volume, and gives us all new people to work with, okay? So I'm going to share my screen because as I got to thinking about this, like I say, it just blows my mind what it means. Let me make sure everybody can see this. Can y'all see my screen now?
Yes, sir.
Chris? All right.
That's good.
All right. You see here at the top where it says Catalyst Club, simple, doable, creates massive volume. Can you see that?
Yeah.
All right. Guys, typically in our company, we talk about the power of 4. When we look at our compensation plan, we teach 4 to get 4, right? Well, I want everybody over the next 90 days to change your thought process on that and think about 9 getting 9. And here's why. Look at this. If we're building by 4, I'm just going to talk about 2 levels. Now, if you can take it 3 levels deep, 4 levels deep, the numbers get even more explosive. But look at this. On your first level, you're looking to go out and get 4 new people, right? By the way, and I'm going to talk about later on how doable this is. Guys, this can be reps or customers. Okay, they've made it really, really simple for us and doable for the masses. In fact, let me go ahead and mention that while that's up there. Do you realize, and hopefully everybody's got the details on the Catalyst Club, but it's simple because it's 3 people, 6 people, 9 people. Those first 3 people, a total of 600 volume points. Now understand it can be reps or customers, brand partners or customers. So if you had a brand partner and they came in with 400 volume points, Brent, the other 2 only need 100 each, for example. So it's a total of 600 volume points, and they got 4 weeks to accumulate that. Somebody asked that question. So it's very, very simple, and it's doable because there's no tripwires. They don't have to be on auto delivery. We'd love for them to be. They don't have to go out and sign a certain number of people or any of that kind of stuff. They made it very, very doable by the masses. Folks, everybody on this Zoom today knows at least 9 people that want to make money or get healthy. We're talking about 9 people. What is there, 330 million people just in the United States? We're looking for 9. I mean, Jim Jones got 900 people to drink poison and die. All right. We're looking for 9 that want to make money or get healthy. We can do this. I'm telling you, it's doable by the masses. But back to my screen here. Think about building. We normally build by 4. So if you went 2 levels deep, 4 times 4 is 16. Notice when you go out and sign somebody as a brand partner, for them to have a income position, to establish an income position, they need how much volume? 200 volume points. So if you went out and got 4 people, they average 200 volume points each. It's pretty simple there. You'd have a total of 800 volume on your first generation or first level. On your second level, you'd have 3,200 volume. So if you add that together, 4 building by 4, 4 times 4 is 16, 16 times 200 volume. So we'd build a total of 4,000 volume points. Can you see that, Chris?
Absolutely.
All right. Now, what if we shifted and we're going to build by 9? Look at this, guys, what happens here. Level 1, you'd have your 9 people. Level 2, if we teach those 9 to go out and get 9 each, we'd have 81 on our second level. Look what happens to the volume. Remember, to get to level 3 of our Catalyst Club that Brent was talking about, and Chris got started. I've been blessed to get on level 1. Remember, we got to produce 1,800 volume points between those 9 new people we bring in, an average of 200 volume each. But again, if one of them came in and became ultimate level and they produced 1,500 volume, you'd only need 300 volume points from the other 8 people combined. Think about that. But look at what happens on the volume. You go out and sponsor 9 people, help them get their 9 and work towards the Catalyst Club. On your first generation, 16,000 volume. Look what happens if we had 81 people went out and produced 1,800 volume each. 145,800 in volume. So you would produce, if you could build 2 levels deep over the next 90 days, folks, that's doable, 162,000 volume compared to 4,000 volume building 4 by 4. Look at this. Notes on the bottom here. So building 9 by 9, just 2 levels over the next 90 days creates more than 40 times the amount of volume if we're building 4 by 4. There's no doubt, folks, the Catalyst Club can be what catapults our company into this. Now, I put a note at the bottom because I know a lot of you are saying, well, I don't know if I can do the full 9 by 9 and get 2 levels deep. Folks, if you only did half of this amount, look at that. You'd still be producing, over 80,000 volume? But maybe more important than anything I've just discussed, Brent and Chris, what this does is it brings everybody new people to work with, okay? Which is in the end, this promotion does 2 things. Increases our commissions and gives us new people to work with. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen there, Chris, but I believe because of all that I just mentioned, I think it might be the best promotion I've seen in 22 years here. Brent, Chris, you got comments on that? I know Brent does. I can see.
I'm over here, Chris. I got to let you talk, but I'm just thinking, here's the thing. The first thing is you got to get your mind to a place where you go, oh yeah, this moment in time is something really special. I've never had the opportunity to be in from adversity to ground floor to being able to do this company. Somebody asked, what do we call the company? I'm calling it Newco. Hey, we're Newco for the next several months. You know why? Everybody wants to be a part of something new. Why does everybody want to renew? Never heard of it. Everybody wants to be a part of something new. So again, when I look at this right here, if you put a $10,000 price tag on today, going out and getting 9 people, if somebody told me, Brent, I'll give you $10,000 cash if you go out and recruit 9 people today in Florence, Alabama, guess what? I can do it. I could go out and get 9 people. It's just whether the energy level's there and the reward on the other side is worth it, right? So if somebody gave you $100 bill today and said, if you'll go in the gym and work out for 45 minutes, we'll give you $100. How many of you go work out for 45 minutes? So the reward on the other side of the workout is something valuable. What Ken just laid out in volume wise is if you focus on getting your 9, and then for the next 90 days, those 9 are going to get their 9. See, if you focus on, well, but I don't know, only half will do. If you focus on 9 is going to get their 9, and that's where you're driving home every day, every day. See, I wrote down, I've recruited 4 new people. Factually, they're on the Zoom today. What if I just focus on, like as that goes down to 9 over the next 90 days, I'm getting Brandon's 9. I'm getting Uriel's 9. I'm getting Brent's. I'm getting Michael and Sean Royster out of Kentucky. Focus on that for the next 90 days. Ken, that's powerful. Like everybody's wanting to know, how do you go optimize an income position? Just do that.
It is powerful. And Brent, I'll let you talk, or Chris, but you said something so important there, Brent. It's about our mindset. You know, if you believe you can do it or don't believe you can do it, you're right both ways, because your mind looks for evidence to support what you believe or want to believe. Everybody get that? Your mind, your brain looks for evidence to support what you believe or want. Yeah, I did a meeting Thursday night, a refresh group. You know, Steve Teglis here in North Carolina, Chris got a huge team. And afterward, one lady said, I'm great at gathering customers, but not great at gathering brand partners. So her mind was, in her mind, she was looking for evidence to support, I can do it if it's customers, but I can't do the brand partners. You got to get your mindset right. Before we were finished talking, she was like, yeah, you're right. Besides that, though, this could be customers, so that's okay too. But guys, you can do this. I promise you can, especially if you'll just go out there and put forth the effort, look at these numbers, get that motivation, and realize it's worth more than $10,000 to go out and build 9x9 over the next 90 days, far more.
Ken, I got to say this too, because this goes right up on top of what you just said. I know a gentleman, doesn't matter his name. I know a gentleman from the industry that I get a chance to talk to back and forth. He is still a distributor in the industry. He's nearing 70 years old. He started in his 20s. He has made over $100 million of commissions in the industry in that time frame. Wow. And the gold nugget he spouted off to me not too long ago was, we have changed names and we have changed things in our company 5 different times in my career. But I stuck in and I stayed the course. And what he really said to me was left foot, right foot, move. Left foot, right foot, move. Pat Summitt's quote. And he said, because of that, I look up and today I've made over $100 million and helped so many other people generate income because we stuck, we stayed, we kept moving. Because we always look back to those check marks, Ken, and the check marks were there to stay. And I look at that and I go, right now, that's really where we're at right now. If we use the Catalyst Club to go, this is where I'm going to focus. This is where I'm going to focus my new people. And I see the opportunity out of the adversity to go build something special. Like, wow. I mean, that's why I've got goosebumps. That's why Deb and Ken Snyder have already hit the Catalyst Club VIP 1, and they will be as well a Catalyst Club VIP 3, not because they burned through their warm market 10 years ago, but they see the opportunity. So, Ken, it's just special time.
Think about the volume, just the people you're talking about. 1,800 volume from me, 1,800 from your, 1,800 from Deb and Ken, 1,800 from Chris, 1,800 from Todd. You start exploding that around the world. It's big for the company. Go ahead, Chris. Chris, Brent or I haven't let you get a word in edgewise here.
Good. I'm good with that. I think one of the things that Brent also said that was so important for everyone on the call is that you've got to come up with your own story. I think too many people are worried about the company name. The guy that I sponsored yesterday asked me the company name, and I said, does it matter? I said, the main thing you wanted to know about was the Tahitian noni juice because you used to drink it before. And how you like that? And when I told him about Renew having Tahitian noni in it, I said, it's going to be the revolutionary product. He ordered literally 2 cases of noni and a box of the Renew. I was going to send him a 5-pack. He said, no, just go ahead and get me one of them 28 packs. And here's what I want to point out. It was because of the story. So when I started recruiting you, Brent's story is different. I've been sending text messages to people. If I had something special, you know I've made a lot of money from home. That's what I say. You know I've made a lot of money from home. If I had something that was about to happen special, would you want to know about it? Guess what? Some of them didn't text me back. 80% have so far. Here's what most people do. And this is one of my training tips today. Most people want to contact one person and wait till they get an answer from the one. And then they go contact one more. So if I can give you a tip here, is to come up with, like Coach Palmer said, your story. And don't worry about how many people respond as much as you worry about how many people you contact. I can assure you, I mean, I guess we talk a lot of football because the coach is on our call. Let me tell you something. Tennessee's recruiting 300 football players right now for next year's class. They're going to get about 20. They talking to 300. So nothing really changes, does it? I mean, really what we do. And I think I'm gonna throw something else out because it's about football related. I mentioned this when we were out in where were we? Hot Springs. We got this senior day at Tennessee today. And we got a guy there that's literally played 6 years because of the COVID stuff, and he had a redshirt year. And he's not even a star. Nobody knows his name. But he said he's starting this year. And he said, you know what? This is my 3rd coach. He said, but I didn't come here to walk away. I came here to finish the job, get my degree. And now he's a starting offensive lineman. It's not even important other than to know he went through so much adversity. I mean, I respect him for going through the adversity. And I think the same thing is people say, everybody wants a shortcut or something different. And the fact is, nothing ever really changes. I do think one thing has changed here. And I'm going to go because I'm such a business guy and numbers. Guys, a $300 million plus company with 0 debt. What does that mean to you and I? That some people say, well, that means more profits for the company. Yeah, it does. But it also means what other things? Promotions and things they can do for the field. Because I know this, if they know what drives, let's face it, I'm going to win the trip to Mexico. That's not even a matter of if and or but. I'll have that done before the year's out. I will win that trip. But I wasn't planning on doing this 9 thing. I don't mean to sound bad. But right now, this Ken got to about this Catalyst Club, and I'm like, dang, I just hadn't paid much attention to it. And I'm doing it. And I'm going to do it for 2 reasons. One, somebody said, 9 seems like a lot. I'm like, 9 is not. If you look at it that way, it is. But if you do it, break it down, even John said it that way, 1 a week, 1 every 10 days. You don't have to go all the way to 9. I promise you. Here's the key to what, in that Brent, the big nugget you should have got was Brent said, I'm going to help my 9 get their 9. If you want to, he's not on here today, so I can brag on him. If you want to know how Coach Rowland has made so much money in this industry, Coach Palmer's done the same thing, but we'll talk about Todd. He's not a real good recruiter. He's decent, but not real good at it. But I tell you what he is good at. He is really good at making sure the people that are on his team have success. So if you support 9 people and help those 9 and teach them to do the same, we try to make this industry too hard. It is about getting yours and showing them it can be done and helping them do the same thing. And I just mean it as simple as that, getting your story and helping them develop their story. And I don't know what else to tell you. I mean, we get too complicated. And I want to, and back to what Brent talked about when we went out to Utah, I want to throw one more thing in about that. We didn't ask easy questions out there before we made out there. We wanted to make sure how comfortable we were. I mean, had people talking about all the changes. Mark Wilson looked at me and said, this is the best. This is awesome for you guys. It's the best thing in the world. He said, not exactly the way we wanted it to end, he said, but I'm fine. I mean, Mark and Fred are fine. People are worried about Mark and Fred. I believe they got a lot more money than I got. I can assure you, way more than I got. But that's not important. They're my friends still. But they want me to move forward and do what we need to do for our families. And I think that's what Cameron said. It's for our families. And that's where I'm here for. It's not about me having allegiance to a certain exact thing. It's about, we have the greatest products. We're debt free. We keep all the things we always wanted. And there'll be people who look back, because I've had it happen to me in another company when somebody said, you just got lucky. No, it's not about that. It's about sticking and staying. I've been with 2 companies in 21 years. I'm going to repeat that. 2 companies in 21 years. And the first company I didn't leave it. It left me. It quit. It went out of business. So,
hey, and Chris, I just want to say this for the new people. We've got a lot of new people on this morning, a lot of brand new people. Listen, you got to look at this. You might be going, well, I don't have a story. Like, I don't have a past. Like, people hear your noise. They hear your music. They hear your excitement. They will drive from miles away to watch you burn if you light yourself on fire. Here's what they want to hear. Like, you got to look at people right now. Let's say you've been in 3 months. Let's say you've been in 6 months. You hadn't done a lot, whatever. Listen, oh my goodness. Our company was publicly traded. They went through a restructuring, and out of that is coming a NewCo company. We're $300 million. We're debt free, and I'm locking on. And listen, I'm like up there at the start of this thing. Like, you ever want to know timing wise? I'm at the top. I'm at the top of the timing of this new company. We don't even have a name yet. Like, a name's coming, but we got products ready to go. I want to introduce you to a product that is going to absolutely be $1 billion brand. I want to introduce you to that, because that's how you're coming in. But I want to tell you, if you've ever thought about being on the ground floor of a company, we don't even have a name yet. Okay. But we're ready to go to work. You want to talk? That's somebody that hadn't made a penny in the industry, that just got started. Like, you want to know what to say that will make people go, like Chris said in his text message, yeah, I want some more information. That's what we're really looking for. We're looking to stir up the world right now, wanting more information. We put more people last Friday on a call than had ever been in the call. Listen, this is factual. There has never been a North America call that had that many people on it last Friday night. That was verified by all executives. Never been a call that's had that many people tuning in on a Friday night at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. That's unheard of. It's not even a good time to have a call. So I share that with you to say, people are looking, people are watching. Are you setting yourself on fire for them to focus on you right now?
Brent, Chris, too, everybody on the Zoom today, and relay this to your people, how exclusive this club really is. Guys, after January 31st, anybody who joins after that can never be a part of this club. And as we go forward and you're going to events, how do you get up? Well, you can't get up there in those seats anymore. That was 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 5 years ago. It's an exclusive deal that's going to evolve over time and get even more important, if you will, because you got VIP entry, VIP dinners, VIP seating, and all the recognition, all that's great, and the swag and whatever. But boy, just being able to go to an event and go right up to you towards the front to your seating and all that forever is a pretty nice deal. Chris was talking about winning the trip. Trips are great, and you make lifetime friends. But you go on a trip in 5, 6, 7, 8 days, it's over with, right? This is for the rest of your life in the company. And so, let your team just know how exclusive this is, and that's going to evolve over time. One of the things on the bottom of that list that you get, it says special gift. It hasn't even been announced what that's going to be for the VIP 3, because they want to evolve it and continue to add things to the Catalyst Club.
All right. Have I got one more thing, Chris, I can squeeze in?
We got much as you want.
I'm looking through the comments right here, and I hope you got that from Ken, what he just said. Like, your face is forever etched in stone. And you go, well, what's that special gift? I can promise you it's going to be really nice. But here's the thing. The biggest thing is it's those lone nuts, those first followers that the company's setting up, this new company is setting up that we all can be a part of. And it is very special. And I'm looking in the comments, and I want everybody to understand, before you can get 9 or 1,800 points, you got to get 3 or 600 points. And so I want everybody to understand where the focus is right now for all of us, for all of you, is how do I get the Catalyst Club, etch my face in history of this new company? Well, in a 90-day period, but I would suggest doing it as fast as you can, because you can create leverage of the people that you bring in. But you bring in 600 points broken between brand partners and customers. Okay. That's how you get to the VIP 1 status. Once you get there, then your VIP 2 status is 1,200 points. Okay. So you get your 600 points. You get to keep that. You get to count that. You add another 600 points to it in brand partners or customers. Boom, you hit the VIP 2 status of the Catalyst Club, which comes with more perks, more benefits, more swag, more stuff about our new branding that you'll always get. VIP access into the rooms at every event. Like you're a big dog walking in, right? That's the way I look at it. I want to win. I want to be that person at the front. But then the third status is 1,800 points over the 90-day period. You get to keep your 600, keep your next 600, and then you come up with your last 600, right? 1,800 points broken in, brand partners and customers, right? Very simple to do, very easy to understand. And then you hit that pinnacle place of the Catalyst Club VIP 3, okay? And now, from there, we dial it back down, and you go, okay, I got to get to VIP 1 first, as quick as I can. So I can do it with brand partners. I can do it with customers. I got to collect, since November the 1st, I got to collect 600 points. But the biggest nugget I hope you take away is any brand partner we get into the business right now, we got one job to do. We got to get them in, get them paid, and get them to VIP 1. Get them in, get them paid, get them to VIP 1. When we get them to VIP 1, guess what we're going to do? We're going to high five Ken Bailey, and then we're going to look at him and go, now we got time. We're going to get to VIP 2. We're going to get you 3 more. Okay. He's excited. His belief's up. He's like, let's go get it. Let's go get it. So that's the game plan. That's the rally cry. Does this add value to you? Maybe in the chats, comments, do you see the vision of where we're focusing on setting your own story, whether you're brand new or whether you've been in the business for 25 years? And this is why these calls are so important. Stay plugged in to Chris Doyle's Saturday morning calls. Because one thing I'll tell you about Chris Doyle, if you're looking for a person to follow that will always lead you in the right direction, no matter if you're benefiting him financially or not, that gentleman I will go to war with any day, get in any foxhole with, because I know he cares about people. And that's what matters. So, Chris, thank you for having me and Ken both. Ken, thank you for your vision.
Hey, the last thing I want to say, Chris, is, folks, I know people will call you a nut for trying to get into this Catalyst Club. People call you a nut for being in the industry. Well, next time somebody calls you a nut for this, remember today's oak tree was once a nut that stood its ground. Just stand your ground on this, okay? You can have a business bigger than any oak tree you've ever seen.
Hey, I love it. I mean, I want people to know. I was thinking about something else that was just said. I want to finish with this. They've got us up on speaker review. So they got the 3 of us, Ken, Brent, and myself. Anthony I always need to thank Anthony for running things behind the scenes. It sure does make it easy on me. Ken and I are not financially tied either. I'll make that clear. We're on opposite sides of the legs for Todd Rowland. Brent's not financially tied to me in any way. And so when integrity and people become the most important, and that's where, Coach, I know these 2 guys' heart is. It's never been about them. It's always, if you'd have been with these 2 guys when we had those tough meetings out there, the first visit, it was about the people. They never once asked about what you're going to do for me. What am I deal? It was about the people that they worked with that they had promised. Integrity. I saw somebody put that in the chat room. Guys, I got news for you. People can use the word integrity all day long. Saying it and having it is two different things. I'm being straight up as I know how. I've seen people talk about integrity and talk about so many things, but watch actions before you know. And that's what I try to stick with. And I will just tell you, I'm excited about what's going on. I intend to take this to the next level. The leadership in this company around all the leaders is crazy. Get your story, work on it. If you need help with something, don't hesitate to reach out. That's not that I have all the answers. We just have different, we're all different. You're going to have to come up with your story but everybody's got the same want to. All of us are here for the same reason, improve our families' futures, as well as stay healthy. And anyway, guys, I can't believe it's been an hour. We have gone a full hour. Don't forget, I'm assuming Andrea will have her call tomorrow night.
Chris, yeah, Andrea is actually going to have representatives from the Catalyst Club that has hit, awesome. that is enrolling people, and that has hit the first milestone of VIP 1 and how they're doing it. If you want to know the details of how they're recruiting their people, get on Andrea Rosser's Sunday night call. You're going to see a lot of our calls syncing together because we have unity, ladies and gentlemen. That's why it is. And then on Tuesday, I will be with Tracy Turnberg. Tracy is in Tahiti. We'll be doing a big call with Africa on the Catalyst Club and driving the Catalyst Club through Africa with Nick Pappas and Yolandi and Henri and all that tribe in Africa. We're excited about it. Massive partnership globally inside of this new opportunity.
Plug yourself into everything possible. You're going to find your nugget and you'll never know which Zoom it's going to be. That's my tip of the day. I plugged into absolutely everything to absorb everything I could when I started in this industry. Plug in. A lot of great things happening. Guys, I believe they put some clicks in the chat room. They've done some clicks. We'll leave that open for you to be able to take pictures of those. But anyway, making sure you're getting plugged in, the most important thing. Guys, have a great day. I hope we've answered most of your questions. People ask a lot of questions we probably couldn't get to. Most importantly is that all your products, like Brent said from the beginning, all those products are still here, still have the same integrity, and more to come. There's more products that will be released. We'll see more things happening. By the way, for those of you that love Lucium, it is in loyalty shopping. I bought enough Lucium to last my wife 6-8 months. I promise you, like, she use it, and I had just bought some when they put it in loyalty. So I went back in there and I done bought me enough stocking stuffers to fill up 2 stockings. I was like, hey, at this discount, 60% off, you can't beat that. I know it's she loves Lucium. So anyway, guys, y'all have a great day. Coach Palmer, thank you for always being supportive. Kim Bailey, I'm just going to call you a regular now. You've been here several weeks in a row, so we're not going to let you get out of this unless you're bear hunting. I know you like to go hunting, and if you're hunting, we'll let you out of it. But otherwise, you just need to plan to be here every Saturday. So guys, have a great, great Saturday. Whoever's team you're on, enjoy your Saturday. Unmute the lines, Anthony. Guys, have a great day.
God
love
bless
you guys.
you,
Grateful
Anthony.
for you.
Thank you so much.
And